Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Thursday edition of the Auburn Blitz. Brett Pritchard, David Jones here with you for your lunch hour. Glad that you joined us out there. We got a lot to dive into today. We'll take your calls, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. On Facebook Live, as we always are on YouTube, so you can tune us in there and comment away on Facebook Live throughout the program. Sportz Blitz, sports with a Z. You can find us there every single day from noon to 1 right now, and a lot of you do, and we appreciate it. Our program brought to you by Mortgage Pro there at McKinley Team, Big Fish Real Estate Group at Lake Martin, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, and J.A. Smith Construction, residential and commercial. David, good to see you, buddy, and a lot to dive into. We're getting closer to the 8A game. We'll start with Auburn football today, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Bruce Pearl and his reflection on this year's team and what he had to say about this year's team and possibly the look of next year's team moving forward. Talk about Auburn baseball getting started today against Georgia. In the SEC home opener, I guess is what you would call it. They went to Arkansas last week and was not a good trip. So Auburn playing a team that's 0-3 as well in the conference, and it's at home. You better take care of business in this league at home. If you don't, you're pretty much out of the mix. Talk about that. Talk about the NCAA tournament. Sweet 16 starts tonight. So we got 4 games tonight, 4 games tomorrow. David, you went down and hung out with the football team yesterday. You were able to go to practice, and so I'll let you kind of have the floor. And I've got some notes on some stuff that Coach Freeze has talked about the last few days. But just overall, your perspective, being able to see the team in person.
Well, last night when I talked to you, I was a little, maybe a little over the top on the negative. I like the direction that we're going, and I'll tell you something. The pace of practice, Brett, is just mind-boggling. I mean, nobody stands around. They're moving. They're working. Great attitudes. And we've still got some pieces that won't be in, until freshmen, until and then of course the portal is always an option. But Coach Freeze is.
I think he understands what he's walked into.
Yeah, reservedly saying some things that would lead us to believe that, we're making some progress, but we're not anywhere close to where we need to be. It was great yesterday because, they're having a high school coaches clinic today and tomorrow. And I'll give you a statement straight from the man's mouth. Mark Freeman, who I grew up with at Thompson High School, I spent probably 15, 20 minutes talking to him yesterday during practice. And I said, Mark, the Harsin thing. He said, David, I never met him.
It's unbelievable.
I never met him. The premier football program in the state, and he never met Brian.
Well, I saw a tweet yesterday, and, and I think the guy's spot on. He said, I have gone and I have progressed from Brian Harsin was the worst coach to I think he intentionally tried to sabotage the program. I mean, and I think the guy was being a little funny, but I also think he was being pretty serious too. I mean, because at some point in time you look down, and again, people may tuning in may say, well, why do they keep bringing that guy up? Well, here's why I keep bringing that guy up, because we're having to deal with this because of what he did not do. And I put a tweet, and I didn't tweet it, a text group that we're in. I said last night, with the latter years of Malzahn into Brian Harsin, about just ran the program in the ground. And people don't realize that you don't just snap your fingers, even with the transfer portal and everything, go back to the way it was in 2017. There's damage that's going to take time to repair, especially when you're in a conference where teams like Georgia and Alabama and LSU and some of these other, and even Tennessee now, are light years ahead of you in recruiting because they didn't take 2 years off like Auburn did. You know, like you said, bringing Mark Freeman in along with all the other coaches yesterday. It's great to have those guys down there. And Randy and I talked about it numerous times, and AL.com came out with an article. How in the hell, excuse my language, do you have a guy that's head of a program that hasn't even been to the bigger high schools in the state of Alabama that produce some of the best talent out there?
The premier.
How do you do that?
The premier program in the state.
Well, who was holding this guy accountable at Auburn? Obviously, when you look back, hindsight, though, David, I hate to go down this rabbit hole, but since we done started.
I know what you're going to say, and you're right.
The boosters knew something.
They knew.
And we all, in the media, were like, well, here we go again. You know, it's just, you know, not giving the guy a chance and all that. That's not it at all.
Well,
that wasn't it at all.
Let me say this, Brett, and you know, y'all call me Mr. Positive.
You're Mr. Sunshine.
Yeah, Mr. Sunshine. And I was trying to be a good Auburn man, good Auburn fan. But I think it's clear that as that thing rocked along, he may have just been counting the money and saying, I know I'm out of here, screw it. Because
I don't think he tried, Dave.
When people have to go knock
I
on
really
his
don't
door,
think he tried.
No.
I mean, I don't think he – I mean, I know that, and look, he's blocked everybody, so who could conversate with him? But you know, he kind of just went away and didn't say anything about what went on. But his effort, I know what it's like in this conference. Anybody that's ever covered this stuff and watched it as much as we have, and the work ethic of a Nick Saban and a Kirby Smart and some of these guys, you don't have massive amounts of time off like Brian Harsin took.
No.
And expect the results that are expected out of a program like Auburn.
Well, here's another quote for you, Brett. You're going to love this one, or hate it. Mark said he did meet, who was our tight ends coach, Bedell?
Yeah, Brad Beadle.
Beadle from Utah.
Yeah.
He said, I did meet him. We had a conversation. He said, man, they are killing us on this recruiting. He said, this recruiting thing down here, is it not overblown a little bit? And Freeman said, Coach, are you crazy? Do you understand where you are? Overblown. He said, we're getting killed on it. They didn't get it. They did not get it. And Mark said,
you know, that's on Allen Green. And I had somebody send me a text this morning saying this solely is on his back. There's no other way you can spin it.
Yeah.
And he hired him. He stuck his neck out there. He went and got a guy that was ill prepared to take on the job. And, you know, I've said it again. And, you know, I kind of feel like Dan Bongino on his Twitter every day. He wakes up, I guess the first tweet he pushes out is he goes, today is March the 23rd, and Joe Biden's the worst president in United States history. I'm not saying that's the case. All I'm saying is that's what Dan Bongino says every day, and he does it 365 days a year ever since Joe Biden was in office. I may start today is March 23rd, and Brian Harsin's the worst football coach that's ever coached in the SEC. And I may start that. And I know people say, man, he just keeps hammering the same thing. It's the truth, though, man. It's a joke that a major university allowed that guy to come in and basically steal $20 million in broad daylight.
Yeah, that's your quote. I love it. 20 million. And Brett, here's the thing. And I saw John again yesterday. John Miller, who is Coach Freeze's general manager, CEO guy. We talked about this on the show Tuesday night.
Right.
Without NIL, and I hate to spend the whole first daggum segment on Harsin, but we're doing it for a reason.
Well, we're having to set up while we are because the quotes. You were negative last night because of. Here's the thing. You had reality coming out of you. Now that you've had 24 hours, you're coming back around, and you're Mr. Sunshine sitting over here trying to process it and make it sound better.
I did see some good things.
But you saw some good things. But basically, what your eyeballs told you is, and it's not Hugh Freeze, it's not the kids themselves per se. It's just where we are as a program, and people need to understand that. You know, I'm gonna give you some quotes here from Freeze. I'm gonna pull out some stuff that you can't turn your head from, and it's stuff that we've got to deal with as a program until they can get a couple more recruiting classes in here to try to fill some of these gaps.
A couple more.
A couple of more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and we touched on this too. You can't discount the job that Coach Freeze and his staff have done to this point. I mean, Brent Bedsoe told me, he said the first 2 or 3 weeks that Coach Freeze was on campus or hired, he wasn't even in his office. He didn't step foot in his office.
And let's remember,
football. He was on the road.
Well, let's remember this too. You know, Brian Hart, we had 2 choices. We had Brian Harsin, obviously when he got there, so we did, or Kevin Steele. So what was the choices really? You know, pick your poison, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you know, if this was an Allen Green, I'm about to show everybody who's in charge move, he went out and did it.
Sure
okay?
did.
But he also, if the pressure was on from the boosters to put Kevin Steele in that position,
Yeah.
well, who's to say it wouldn't have ended the same exact way?
Yeah.
And I don't have any confidence that we'd be sitting up here right now, 2 years down the line, happy with what Kevin Steele's done with the program. He would have recruited better. Now, I'm going to give the man credit. Man, he understands the landscape down here. But from a coaching standpoint, the man's had his opportunities, and he ain't done anything himself. You know, as far as from a head coaching position or going down to, you know, coaching at Clemson, getting 70 put up on you in the Orange Bowl. And
Miami defense was awful.
Miami defense looked like Swiss cheese.
Well, Brett, I'm gonna go back to what that guy in Oxford told me during basketball season at that Oxford
At that little store.
He said, dude, people can say what they want to about who y'all hired. He said, I'm jealous. He said, we're all on our toes.
We know what, if we come back, I'm going to talk about some of this stuff that it's tough to talk about from a standpoint of where the program is right now, but it's what Hugh Freeze has got to deal with. It's the cards he was dealt. Now he's got to play these hands, and he's got to get Auburn back in the game. Up against our first break of the program. Stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route, to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
SCAG, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that SCAG means productivity and reliability. Every SCAG mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. SCAG.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. About 45 minutes left in today's show. Get your comments in. Randy said, "Old Buddy Harson," yeah, with a bunch of smiley faces. Yeah, it's been grand having him around for a couple of years, and but glad we've moved on. I think we got a great football coach. But the reality is, with momentum, with excitement, also comes the reality of what's been left behind and what you got to build on. And Hugh Freeze has got a tall task. He knows it. He's been very nice. I don't think he said anything derogatory about anybody. He's tried to spin it in about the best way he can, but there's some things he's just having to be brutally honest about. And he said 2 areas that are the furthest behind right now, according to his evaluation of all positions, is quarterback and wide receivers. And basically he said, we're nowhere near where we need to be in either one of them. And he's not trying to be just over the top negative with his tone with these 2 groups, but he's just saying what reality is. And we all know how important the quarterback position is, especially in this conference. And Auburn's got 3. He doesn't have a lot of positive things to say about any of them right now.
I know who they want.
You know who they want.
I'll tell you off the air.
Well, yeah. Well, look, there's some guys.
There'll be another quarterback on campus, Brett, at the end of spring training.
There will be, and I kind of already know. I had a discussion with my dad. I know who the guy is pretty much, and I'll match up and see if that's who you have. But let's just talk about it. I mean, this is what you're going to have to do is get through this spring. Now, he did say it's difficult to evaluate Robbie Ashford for a couple of reasons. Just because the way you practice, you don't really get a chance to see the athletic things, the impromptu things that a guy like he can do. Mm-hmm. He said he reminds him a lot of Malik Willis. He said, going into that first season when Malik transferred from Auburn, he said he probably had about 15 meaningful snaps in a practice situation where he could actually look and say, whoa, So he said, I didn't even know until we got in a game against Western Kentucky in the 4th quarter, and he said he ripped off about 3 perfected passes down the field. Then he pulled the ball down and ran it 3 or 4 times on a read option and just made the right call every time. He said, you can't emulate that in practice. He said, that's situational stuff that you can only do in certain things like in a scrimmage or whatever. And he said, you only get so many plays to do that. So, I mean, in an underhanded way, he gave Robbie Ashford maybe the nod, and you would think he would have the nod over the other 2 guys. Yeah. Now, in Pro Day, they asked one quarterback to come and throw to help out, and that was Holden Garner. And I told somebody today, I said, well, he obviously has some talent. He was a highly rated guy coming out of high school, but they obviously feel good enough about him throwing the football that they bring him over there to throw to the receivers in the drills for pro day for all the scouts to watch.
That's right.
So
That's
there's,
telling.
that's right. So there's some potential there, but here's
sorry to interrupt.
No,
yesterday when they did 11 on 11, it was Ashford.
Well, that's who it is
Every
right now.
snap.
Let's just be honest about it. All right, here's the numbers from last year. And by the way, these were worst in the conference in every category. 172.7 passing yards per game, 51.6% completion, only 2,072 yards passing, and only 9 touchdowns in there. That's horrible, man.
Unbelievable.
That's for an entire season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's completely unacceptable at this level. And, you know, again, a lot of that was Robbie Ashford was playing with a hurt shoulder, and a lot of people didn't even know it. And so you were going, well, why don't they throw the ball ever? And then you got to remember, you lose your coach, and then Carnell has to take over, in which he did a really good job of riding the ship and keeping things kind of on an even playing field, but just horrific numbers. And, you know, some of that has to do with talent, and the other part of it is the situation that was dealt those players. So, but that's got to get a tremendous amount better. And that's exactly what Hugh Freeze is saying. And he's trying to brace people is that we probably don't have the guy on campus right now. And he's trying to do it in a nice way so he doesn't kill the morale of the guys he's got.
Absolutely. It's a fine line that he's walking right now. And Brett, just real quick thought came to my mind for what you just said. What we did do under Carnell is got better running the football. It's a mystery what was going on before Carnell came in and said, we are going to run the football, and we did better.
Right.
And then you bring in Freeze and his passing knowledge. I mean, it's a great situation that we're in. I saw a comparison on a tweet or something about our coaching staff is rated top 20 in the country right now, and we were way down.
Well, Shed Jackson goes out there and runs a 4.2 something. I mean, and somebody texted in our group said,
unbelievable.
How in bloody what did we not get something out of him?
Can't get him the ball.
You know, he went missing this whole time. I mean, and
his vertical jump was off the charts too.
So
people going nuts.
Jamie said, no doubt Harsin was the worst ever, and it really hit me with the Bama overtime game. A one-legged QB and nobody on the bench that could come in. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I hate to
pretty good description.
Well, we're not meaning to go back down memory lane and bring out bad stuff. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, go ahead.
Good morning, guys. How you all doing today?
Doing great. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Appreciate you taking my call.
Yes, sir.
And, I'm like you, Brett. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but dadgum with Brian Harsin. Look, if I was the AD, and which I'm not, I never will be, but if I was hiring a coach in the SEC, the first thing I'd want to know is how are you going to recruit? How's your plan to get ball players in here to get us to compete? I'll never forget when Auburn hired Green, my son saying we're counting on a baseball player from Notre Dame that's been up to Buffalo to come down here and tell us how to run an athletic department. So this ain't going to work good.
Well, the way you put it that way, man, that makes me feel even worse. I mean, if you wanted to break it down that way, well, that's why we probably all should have looked at it back then. I think your son was spot on right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it's going to take a while, and I know we got some recruits in through the portal and transfer guys and stuff like that. But guys, it's just going to take us a while, and we need to be prepared for that. That don't mean we can't be a scrappy team and this, that, and other. And I expect us to be that, and I'm thinking we will. But it's just going to take a little bit of time to build up our talent and our depth and everything. And that's just the reality of it. But I appreciate you taking my call as a War Eagle.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you, buddy. You're right. I think you're going to see the effort immediately. I think you're going to see a different team demeanor-wise on the field. Does that mean that translates into wins? It could in some games, but more than likely, again, until you get your roster up to par to compete in this conference, you're going to more than likely get what's coming to you.
Next year is going to be interesting.
So it is. So we'll continue to take your calls, 256-234-6221, and your comments when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Country Clipper zero-turn mowers are designed for comfort, accessibility, and ease of use. Only Country Clipper offers your choice of steering options with industry-exclusive joystick steering or twin-lever steering. Their patented stand-up deck, standard on every model, allows for quick access to the underside of the deck for routine maintenance. With a wide front step and optional handrail, getting on or off your mower has never been easier. Stop by Fun Carts of Opelika today for a test drive. Country Clipper mowers, designed for you. Fun Carts of Opelika, located at 618 Lee Road, 113 in Opelika, Alabama.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cab, discounted up to $9,250 off. Chevy Equinox up to $6,750 off. Shop online anytime at glennsmith.com. That's GLYNN Smith.com. Plus, no payments for 120 days at Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Brett Pritchard, David Jones here with you for about 30 more minutes in today's show, and we're glad that you joined us out there. Would love to hear from you via phone, 256-234-6221, or you can comment away here on Facebook Live. We'd love to hear from you that way. But, you know, going back and looking at these numbers, David, we're talking spring football because we're approaching A-Day. on April the 8th. Hopefully the weather will be good. Texas A&M in town for baseball. That'll be a good series, hopefully, for Auburn at home. But it should be a good weekend. Again, we don't want to be on here and just be pounding a negative tone. We're just trying to be realistic about it. I think we've kind of got the reputation on our programming over the years that, we try to tell it like it is. When it's great, we talk about how great it is. When it's bad, we don't try to sugarcoat it and act like everything's hunky-dory when the kitchen's on fire, and so that, we try to just be realistic and give everybody a platform to kind of talk about it. But Hugh Freeze coming in at the point he's coming in has his hands tied a little bit. I expect him to instill an effort like we haven't seen in a while in this team. You root out the ones that don't want to be there, don't want to buy in. I'm not saying these kids didn't want to be there, but Desmond Tisdale enters the transfer portal. He's been there 3 years. Haven't seen him very much. I think he had 17 total tackles in 3 years. Camden Brown, who was Derek Brown's younger brother, has been there 4 years, and he's getting in the portal. And, again, it's not a cut on these guys, but they hadn't been able to make their way on the field at this point. I know you're dealing with a roster that's depleted, but I'm not sure that they were a big part of what Auburn was going to do moving forward anyway. So we'll kind of see how that all plays out, but definitely a numbers game at this point. I think Auburn is playing to scrimmage again tomorrow, so hopefully we'll have some notes and some information on that and be able to update some people on that. I want to talk about Bruce Pearl reflecting on this year's team. On 3 was able to catch up with him, and I believe Justin Hokanson was the guy that talked to him and maybe had this interview. But just kind of some quotes here from Bruce Pearl. He said, look, if it's not broke, don't fix it. What we do works. We will recognize and honor these guys for their contribution. He said, I'll be shifting gears now, helping, the guys that are going to want to take a look at maybe where their draft status could be. We'll look at that. And, within the next week or two, get a look at what our roster looks like. If we lose anybody in the transfer portal and begin to rebuild it. So, really, that's what Bruce Pearl had to say about this team. He also went on to say that he said, I don't want this team to think that, they didn't achieve some great things, because they did. He said, I have high expectations, and he said we ended up with a good year. He said it wasn't where we wanted to be, but ended up with a good year. And he said it definitely was not, a bad loss for Auburn leaving the tournament to the #1 team in the country in Houston. He said, no, we didn't do some things that we need to do in the second half. Obviously, about like making a basket. Yeah. Let's start there, But anyway, the #1 team in the country knocks you out, and you go back to the drawing board now, and you look at this roster like Bruce Pearl said, and you try to figure out where your holes are going to be and who's going to come back. And I think, like you said yesterday or day before, David, on the program, somebody called in, and I think we'll know pretty quickly after the March Madness tournament is over where everybody's going to be and where they're going.
Yep. I mean, you got your coaching puzzle pieces being, several coaching moves are being made now, and that always happens when a team loses out and the season's over.
We've already seen it with Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yep.
He going to Iona. And Rick Pitino went to St. John's.
And the who was the coach?
Penn State.
Penn State going to where's he going? Doggone it!
But he's leaving and going. Yep. He's gone.
Yeah.
So.
And so, but my point is this: those guys get on campus, and these coaches all network at the Final Four, And when that Final Four is over with, you'll start being. I made my wife so mad last night because my wife loves K.D. Johnson, and I'm not saying K.D. Johnson's going anywhere. But I was bringing up the point about roster changes and all of Notre Dame. That's right. Roster changes, and some guys have done their thing, and she's, well, you got to be honor these guys. I said, you got to honor W's.
You don't honor that.
You got to honor.
That's not the way.
Who's going to get you to the next level? And so, Bruce has been very nice and kind about the things he said. I told you this. You know good and well it's driving Bruce Pearl nuts that we're not further along this season than we all thought we could have been.
Right,
so
right.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with the roster. I fully trust him. And
I think Jalen Williams and Janai Broom are the only two for sure. Back.
And I would be disappointed if either one of them was not, because I still think Jalen can be the leader if he'll be a little more vocal.
Yeah, I do too. I think from a standpoint of Alan Flanagan, can he come back? Absolutely. Here are the eligibility. Here's how many years everybody, if they were to come back. Jalen with one, Flanagan with one, Lior with one, Babatunde with one, which, I hate to, again, he ain't even been an option to come off a bench when you got three guys that have fouled out of the game.
Right.
So I think he'll probably – Wendell Green, it seems like, will leave. It feels that way to me. He's got 2 years left. KD's got 2 years left. Janai with 2. I've even heard Dylan Cardwell might exit. He's got 2 years left.
Yeah.
Trey Donaldson's got 3. Johan's got 3. Chance Westry with 4. And, of course, Aiden Holloway will be coming in with 4.
If 3 or 4 of those guys leave, Brett, it'll be interesting to see what
some of those guys
Pearl
on scholarship, and if they leave, that opens up the scholarship.
That's what I'm saying. It'll be interesting to see what Bruce Pearl plugs those spots with.
There's some guys entering the transfer portal already, and there's going to be some top players in there that people can grab. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction, site clearing, and grading for new home construction.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogrooom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Kalijah Idol is coming to Lake Martin and the River region. The opening rounds are at Martin's on Lake Martin, starting March 17th. Then at Alabama's Little Bit of Texas at Wetumpka from March 31st to April 22nd. Kalijah Idol 15.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce, because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
OGS Tournaments. WrestleMarine and State Farm agent Aaron Warren present Crank for Bank 2023, April 1st through July 4th. Win over $1.5 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 50 tag crappie are waiting on you. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or shores of Lake Martin. Get registered now online at crankforbank.com for only $110 for 13 weeks of fishing. It's Crank for Bank 2023.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bugs Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bugs Island has all kinds of boats with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bugs Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bugsisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true, and the names have been changed because Brubaker Motors has sold to Sons Automotive. You heard right. Brubaker Kia is now Sons Kia of Montgomery. Furthermore, Sons Automotive is a family business with dealerships throughout the Southeast. The name Sons Automotive is synonymous with trust, and they care about the communities they're a part of. They're excited to serve the River region, and in the interest of justice, you will be served a sentence of big savings. Sons Kia of Montgomery, family owned, family driven.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Couple segments left. In today's show, good buddy Dane sent me a message, said, with Wendell already transferring in, I don't think he can leave again until he graduates, and I think he's right. So knowing that, and from a tweet that he put out, Wendell put out after the tournament or after Auburn got bumped, he basically said, it's time to get back to work and all that. So I think with all that being said, as I was running down eligibility for everybody, I think he'll be back. I think KD will be back. Again, he's in the same boat, and both have 2 years of eligibility left. So,
well, correct me if I'm wrong, Brett. Couldn't Wendell leave, but he'd have to sit out a year?
He would.
Yeah.
Is he willing to sit out somewhere right now? No, probably not.
No,
I don't think so.
No.
Bill said, how do y'all feel about Trey Orr's potential going forward? He finished his sentence after you. Big timer. But, Bill, I think I think he's got a lot of potential. Maybe he didn't find his niche in this team. This team had some chemistry issues, and Flanagan talked about it in the post game. They interviewed him. He said, we went missing sometimes on defense. Got out of place, let them get downhill on us, missed some assignments. There was not a true leader on this. I said it till I was blue in the face all year. I think they tried to make Wendell the leader. He just did not embrace the role. Again, you can't force somebody to be an alpha male, alpha dog on a team trying to lead a group of guys. And you either have it in you or you don't. And I'm not sure this team did.
And Brett, leaders have to be consistent on and off the floor. Let's be honest, Wendell was not consistent.
Yeah, you're right.
This year.
You're right. You don't just run on the floor and start pointing fingers and telling everybody what to do, and then you go out in public or out amongst your friends. I'm not saying he was, but act a different way. You know what I mean?
On the floor,
or on the
telling
floor.
people what to do, and then you go jacking some of the shots.
That's right. That's right.
Let's just be honest.
Again, I'm not saying yes or no on that, just the fact that there was something missing. And, next year, with another year of development, Yohan Traore was a 5-star prospect that we were able to get from LSU. He was going to go to LSU and then got out of that because of all the stuff that went on down there, and Auburn was really fortunate. Felt like that was a huge pickup coming in, and maybe he'll end up being a phenomenal player. He's got potential.
Well, when I saw Bruce at Victory Grill a few months back, and I asked him specifically about Yohan. This was early in the season.
Right.
And he said, well, David, remember those 2 games that he had in Israel where he did really well? Those basically were against teenage guys.
They were.
That
they were
third game was against some men.
No, it was. Well, and we knew that.
And that came to fruition as the year played out. So
maybe next year, with the experience he had this year, and he grows and gets better, maybe he can come in and be a phenomenal player. Again, the Sweet 16 starts tonight. These are 4 really good games. David, I'm looking forward to it from a standpoint of getting started with Michigan State and Kansas State at 5:30. You know, Tom Izzo has just done what Tom Izzo does. You know, gets his team back there, going to hang another Sweet 16 banner at least, and if not something else. But Kansas State, a formidable opponent, beat Kentucky, knocked them off. I saw where Paul Feinbaum pretty much said Kentucky's become irrelevant now in the SEC. I mean, so you don't think that's well, I mean, we've talked about it on this show a lot. Luke, me, you, Randy. Since 2018, Alabama or Auburn, either tournament champions, regular season champions, or both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With a little bit of Tennessee and Kentucky sprinkled in.
And that's driving them nuts. But what you going to do about it with a $50 million buyout?
Nothing. You're going to have to sit there and grin and bear it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just one of those things. Arkansas, UConn, again, for all the parts of you that don't like Eric Musselman, he just continues to get this team deep in the tournament. And they sit there for the 3rd consecutive year in the Sweet 16 with a chance to move on to the Elite 8 again.
Charles said, hide the women and children. It's going to be a grown man's game.
It's about the truth, man. It's going to be rough. UConn favored by 4 in that game.
Really?
Florida Atlantic with a mediocre 33-3 record this year will take on Tennessee. You better bring your helmet if you want to play in this one. If you're Florida Atlantic, I'm pretty sure you have not played anybody as rough as this Tennessee. They just physically beat Duke out of the tournament. They just said, look, we're just going to punch you until you don't want to be punched no more and you want the game over.
Florida Atlantic coach probably called Duke's coach and said, how bad was it? I mean, they did. That's going to be – I think Tennessee will win the game.
Flapowski will tell you as he caters to the gash under his eye. You know, that brought back the shades of the old 1980s NBA games where, man, you literally punch somebody in the face and not get called for a foul.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was the roughest. It was a little bit too much, but this stuff now, the way the game's played now is so dummied down from a physical standpoint. Basketball's supposed to be physical, especially in the paint.
Yeah.
Now, boy, you brush somebody, foul. I mean,
and then the kids do this, and then go complain to the official. Brett,
and Luke has said it on here more than anybody, and now that ever since he said it a few weeks ago, I notice it now more than ever. Dadgummit, man, charging fouls are such a pain in the rear end, and referees just love to call charging fouls.
Well, we saw that in the AHSAA.
God, I mean,
that was a joke.
I bet you have at least 5 to 7 per game now. Whereas you used to rarely have a charge call or a player control foul. Man, if you can slide over a little bit and get somebody and then fall back, they're going to call a charge.
The intent of the original foul is gone.
It's, again, trends in sports. Some of them are bad. Up against the final break of the program. Stay tuned. One more segment right after this.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Kalijah Idol is coming to Lake Martin and the River region. The opening rounds are at Martin's on Lake Martin, starting March 17th. Then at Alabama's Little Bit of Texas at Wetumpka from March 31st to April 22nd. Kalijah Idol 15.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce, because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
OGS Tournaments. Russell Marine and State Farm agent Aaron Warren present Crank for Bank 2023, April 1st through July 4th. Win over $1.5 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 50 tag crappie are waiting on you. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or shores of Lake Martin. Get registered now online at crankforbank.com for only $110 for 13 weeks of fishing. It's Crank for Bank 2023.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true, and the names have been changed because Brubaker Motors has sold to Sons Automotive. You heard right. Brubaker Kia is now Sons Kia of Montgomery. Furthermore, Sons Automotive is a family business with dealerships throughout the Southeast. The name Sons Automotive is synonymous with trust, and they care about the communities they're a part of. They're excited to serve the River region, and in the interest of justice, you will be served a sentence of big savings. Sons Kia of Montgomery, family owned, family driven.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment here on the Auburn Blitz. Again, brought to you by Mortgage Pro there at McKinley team, saving people thousands of dollars on their home mortgages. Make sure you call on Eric McKinley and his staff today. Big Fish Real Estate Group at Lake Martin, finding you that perfect property, whether it be on Lake Martin, whether it be in town somewhere here in the central part of Alabama or down on the coast. Maybe you're looking for a piece of property there. They'll help you out there. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, 10 locations throughout central Alabama for all your home improvement, home, materials and supplies needs. They beat the big box stores. Make sure you call on Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores. And J. Smith Construction, residential and commercial, no project too big or small for them. And if you're needing something done, they're the group to call. So glad to have those 4 part of the Auburn Blitz. Finishing up tonight's schedule for the Sweet 16 first group is Gonzaga UCLA, and that game will tip at 8:45. That's going to be a good one. UCLA's 31-5. Gonzaga is 30-5. So you got 2 SEC teams going tonight. Arkansas against UConn, Tennessee against a great Florida Atlantic team. It's 33-3. You get things started by 2 scrappy blue-collar teams in Michigan State and Kansas State. That'll be a good one, and you end with that Gonzaga UCLA game.
I'm going to the baseball game tonight, Brett, but I'll have the phone. I'll have one of them on the phone, and hopefully we'll blow Georgia out and we can leave early and get home see that last one.
That should be a good one, yeah. We're going to get to baseball here in just a second for sure. Tomorrow, the other 4 games, San Diego State and Alabama, will get started at 5:30 on Friday. Miami and Houston. That would have been the matchup that Auburn would have been in if they were able to knock off Houston. It would have been a rematch of that Miami team from last year. I'm not sure we would have wanted that. 6:15 on Friday, then Princeton-Creighton. Probably the least exciting of the 8 games in the Sweet 16. That will be Friday at 8, and then Xavier and Texas should be a really good game Friday night at 8:45. So
6 of those 8 games, to me, are just almost must-watch. Those last 2 that you mentioned, okay.
Yeah. But Miami, Houston, San Diego State, Alabama are going to be great. So that's what you get when you get the Sweet 16. You hope you have some good matchups, and there's definitely going to be some good ones here. Auburn baseball closing out the show here. David gets started tonight against Georgia. This Georgia team is not very good themselves, 14-7. So far, they got swept in their opening series this past weekend, just like Auburn did. Auburn's 14-6-1. So really, in essence, the 2 teams about mirror image. They're 14-7, we're 14-6-1, and both of us are looking for our first SEC win tonight at 6 o'clock. It's the first pitch. It'll be Tommy Vale tonight, and then tomorrow again is a TBA with Gonzalez being out and don't know when he's going to return. We not going to go into a lot of detail, but it just doesn't seem like as time goes on that this is a good situation. I'll leave it at that. It just seems like that he may be out for an extended amount of time if we don't see him soon.
Yeah.
If we don't see him soon, we might not see him at all. I hate to say it that way. But I'm not the doctor. We're not there, so we don't get to look at what's going on. But I can tell you this, every weekend that goes by without him is going to make it tough on Auburn because he was supposed to be the number 1 guy. And I don't care who you are, you take the number 1 pitcher off every team in this league, it changes everything.
Completely. And, Brett, we still have, I don't know if Chris Stanfield has supplanted Bobby Pierce in left field, but we hadn't seen much of Bobby. Cooper McMurray, who is the first baseman transfer from Kansas, is still out. Of course, Ike Irish has kind of supplanted himself there. We know where he's going to end up at the end of the day. He's behind the plate. But, gosh, and Joseph's under the care of the best in the world. Dr. Andrews.
Well, I mean, if he's not ready, the last thing you want to do is run a guy out there who's not ready to come
Exactly. Absolutely.
I mean, Houston almost screwed up in the basketball tournament running Sasser out there, and then he tweaked it again. And it's like, why are you running him out there against a 16 seed?
Right.
And they almost, crapped in their cornflakes a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think you looked at Kelvin Sampson going, I hope we didn't mess up in this. But no, he didn't. He came back stronger than ever 2 days later.
Well, that's 2 players, Brett, Sasser and Brandon Miller. How healthy are they going forward? And that's going to be a key to both those teams.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you can't survive without them. Neither one of those teams. Zach Crotchfield on Saturday. And again, that's the series Thursday and Friday. Friday and Saturday games will be at 2 o'clock. Tonight's game will be at 6. And then, that's Auburn starting off in SEC play at home. Butch Thompson's 3-3 all time in SEC home openers as a head coach. So the team's 4-0 in series openers at home this season and outscoring opponents 27-11. Now, it's a different animal when the SEC comes calling, but we'd love for Auburn to get off to a great start.
It's a good time for an 0-3 SEC team to come
couldn't have been better.
Off of our
couldn't have been better.
Arkansas
the worst thing you would have wanted to see is come home to an LSU or Tennessee or
right.
South Carolina.
That's right.
Or somebody like
That's
that.
right. But now, next weekend.
I know.
Or maybe it's weekend after next. Texas A&M.
That's at home. That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Hey, that's going to be a big Saturday in Auburn.
Definitely going to be. There's the music. That means we're out of time. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us every single day. We'll be back with you tomorrow, same time, same place. For David Jones, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We'll help you out. See you next time.